can turn back now or learn the stuff they don't want you to know. Here are the facts. Nowadays, vampires are celebrities. From TV shows to feature films, bloodsuckers have crossed the line from nightmares to heartthrobs. However, few people believe that vampires are real. The idea that a dead body could rise from the grave, seek out blood, and infect others is far-fetched. Or is it? If vampires are just another campfire spook story, they're one of the oldest. Vampire legends date back over 4,000 years when Mesopotamians feared the child-killing demon goddess Lamatsu. She also drank the blood of adults, causing sterility and nightmares. Lamatsu was not unique. Vampire-like monsters exist in almost every culture, from China to Eastern Europe. The modern vampire is a recent invention. Older vampires didn't have problems with sunlight or a crucifix allergy, yet the core of the legend remains the same, something unholy, undead, and thirsting for blood. How could cultures across the world have such similar myths? Are they based in truth? Most scientists don't think so. Physicists have proven that conventional vampires can exist due to the problem of exponential growth. Yet this doesn't mean that vampires are completely fictional. Several things could have birthed vampire legends, especially before the advent of modern medicine. Until we had the ability to perform autopsies, most burials were based on whether or not the person looked dead. Occasionally, people were buried while catatonic or incapacitated and would suffocate trying to escape the coffin. If investigators disinterred the body, they'd find signs of movement after burial. Or consider porphyria, an often misunderstood medical condition. This rare genetic disorder makes victims sensitive to light and causes problems with the skin, nervous system, and enzymes, producing a substance called heme. In the 1970s, some scientists hypothesized that victims of porphyria may have given rise to vampire myths. After all, porphyria causes problems with blood. However, porphyria predates the idea of vampires being sensitive to sunlight, which is, again, recent. It's hard to believe that such a connection could exist. But to some people, the definition is more important than the timeline. What exactly makes someone a vampire? Here's where it gets crazy. Thousands of people believe that they actually are vampires. Not all believe they are dependent on blood. Some describe themselves as energy or psychic vampires, meaning they derive some sustenance from the life forces of another being. This life force is often called prana, which means breath in Sanskrit. Energy vampires believe they feed on the emotions of others. According to this belief, vampires could be anyone. To the conspiracy theorist, it makes sense that most people haven't heard of this type of vampire. After all, if you lived off the emotions of other people, would you want them to know? Skeptics point out that there is no standard definition of life force, and it's impossible to prove these people are anything other than human. As much as we love a good Dracula flick, traditional vampires probably don't exist. Energy vampires are a little harder to explain. There's no definition of this life force substance, but most cultures believe it exists, whether as chi in China, prana in India, or the soul in Western religions. Could it be real? And if so, could vampire-like creatures feed upon it? Are vampire stories just another legend for the frightened children and the superstitious? Or does a grain of truth lurk beneath this story? Something they don't want you to know.
I am not being immodest when I speak of a whole new era in the field of biology and therapy. The destructive and degenerative effect of atomic explosions have driven scientists more than ever before into research involving methods and processes of regeneration, rebuilding abnormal or totally destroyed cells.